Share this video to scare a member of the Furo Counselor Kaiwai because today's Japanese slang video relates to a bunch of terms related to bathing, which all popped off in the 2010s. Let's start with the most simple, which is the verb hokaru. Now this just arises from hoka hoka, which is the Japanese onomatopoeia for being warm, but especially comfortably warm. So hokaru is used in Japanese slang to refer to going to a bath, or quite commonly, going to an onsen. Now, if Japan was a boring place, the video would end just there, but it's not, because Japanese people using hokaru decided that hokaru is not enough, and they needed to develop an entire suite of interactions related to going to the bath and coming back from a bath. So, if somebody tells you that they are going to hokaru, the proper thing to say is not have a nice time, but rather hokatera, which is a combination of hoka hoka, again, and itterashai, as in like what you say to somebody when they leave. In contrast, if you've been hokatera'd and you come back from your bath, you should say hokaima, which is a combination of course, hoka hoka and tadaima. Now, if you think things end there, oh no, Japan wouldn't do us like that. Instead, the person who gave you the hokatera should respond with hokairi, which is of course hoka hoka and okairi nasai. To which you, because of course the interaction doesn't end there, will say hokaari, which is warm and thank you, as in thank you for welcoming me back from my bath. Now, generally speaking, in 2026, these terms are all seen as kind of dying or dead. You can absolutely find people still using them, but they're not in their heyday. For instance, this person quote tweets a discussion of two terms used in ancient Rome to refer to going to the bath and coming back to the bath, meaning that they are like how hokatera and hokairi were used by quote old Twitter. And people like this are reminiscing in 2025 about back when they used to say hokaari and furorida over and over again. And if you're not familiar, furorida then does not refer to the state, but is also a bathing term, this time a combination of ofuro, like a bath, and ridatsu, which is to leave. And so you would say this when you leave an area or a conversation in order to take a bath. But while these terms are not as popular as they once were, I should stress that they were quite popular. Furorida, for instance, reached one of the top Garu terms of 2017. And if you look on Google Trends, which recently got an update and looks really good, you can see use of all of them since about 2010, with hokaru apparently being the most popular, although I would take that with a grain of salt, as there are people and characters who just have hokaru in their name, such as this VTuber. But actually, there are uses of hokaru going back to 2008, only one, but it's a use. And from the context, it's very clear that it's a use in the way that we're talking about. And honestly, to my surprise, 2008 is the first hit I can find for all of these terms. And as you see now, in the proper interaction method. So the dates I give in these videos are very rarely 100%. 2008 does seem to be the origin, with the early to mid 2010s being the kind of explosion, and that includes furorida. As you can see here, with somebody actually just defining it in 2009. Personally, I think these are all great, and I don't want them to die, so given that these were all very mainstream, I would encourage you to use them. If you have a friend that spends any time online and they say they're going to take a bath, or they go to the onsen or something, use it, please. It'll be fun. Words don't have to die, we can just keep them alive. That's in our power. You don't have to be Japanese to use Japanese. So go out there and hokaru and tell everyone you're a hokaru. And if your friend, of course, hokarus to you, be sure to hokatera them and then give them a hokairi when they get back. And with that, it's definitely time for me to furorida.